Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
And here we go.
Live from the Hollywood foothills of North Carolina, welcome to the Confirmed Epic Podcast, the official podcast of the epicreview.com and proudly presented by the Geeks Worldwide Radio Network. I, of course, am one of your hosts, the real Brad Bell, and joining me tonight, not for the first time, but for the first time in a long time, a very special co-host, the mother of Beagles.
No,
not anymore. All right, the mother of Harper, now that she has the actual kid, who you may hear in the background, a.k.a. my wife, Abby. Abby, thank you for filling in for Jerry tonight.
glad to be here.
All right, Abby, why are you filling in for Jerry tonight? Where's he at?
I don't know.
You don't know where he's at? What movie's he seeing? The movie we're going to review next week on this podcast. The movie that you and I are going to go on our first date night to.
Oh, Jurassic Park.
Not Jurassic Park. What is it? Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which we will have for you next week in episode 97 of the Confirmed Epic Podcast, where that's all we will be talking. But Jerry wanted to go to the Thursday night premiere. We had to wait for my mom to babysit, so we're going to see it Saturday night, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. Abby's not. Why are you not looking forward to it?
I don't want to leave her yet.
This is going to be the first time that Abby's going to leave our baby girl, Harper. I mean, I've went back to work. Abby's been on maternity leave. I'm sorry, Abby. But what a movie to go do it for than what is at 54% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. But no, the movie looks like a hell of a lot of fun.
Well, I just wanted to go to dinner, but
yeah,
I'll go see the movie for you.
Yeah, the movie's my thing. Dinner is her thing. So you may hear baby Harper in the background. She's in her little bouncer, like right beside the kitchen table where we are recording this tonight. Thank you for clicking play, whether it's on iTunes, whether it's on SoundCloud, whether it's on Podbean, YouTube, however you are listening to us today. Thank you very much. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the 96th edition of the Confirmed Epic Podcast, which will culminate in a review of Insidious The Last Key. But for now, let's get into what we've been checking out this week.
Check checklist? Check. Double check enough checklists? Check.
So for the sake of this topic, I have picked two things actually, that both Abby and I have been checking out. If you don't have a kid, one of the things you will quickly realize is you have a lot of time to watch television. You have a lot of time to watch movies. Some good movies, some bad movies, some good TV, some bad TV. And we're going to talk about a little bit of both tonight on what we've been checking out. All right, Abby, the first thing that I've been checking out, you've been checking out as well, is the a Netflix original series, Everything Sucks. Abby, what makes this show so special? Why did we like it so much?
Because it's taking place in the 90s.
It's taking place in the 90s, and I was born in 87. I grew up in the 90s. You are truly
a 90s baby.
Yeah, for sure. So
I was born in 90.
Let me ask you this. Does it feel like the 90s cliches and 90s stereotypes are too prevalent in this show? Or was it just right, in your opinion?
I think it was just right. I didn't have a problem with it.
So what did you enjoy about this show?
The music, all the 90s music. Because like most of the music in the 90s was like a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
There were like a bunch of one-hit wonder songs, and you're like, wait, who sung that?
Like Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah, which artist did that song? And you look it up and you're like, wow, that was the only song they are really known for.
You know what song I was surprised wasn't in this show, though? Bop, Hanson.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Was
was like
in the 90s. And that is Hanson not like the ultimate like one-hit wonder band? I mean, is that not...
Did they only have one hit? I thought they had more than one hit.
I think maybe they have two or three songs. But I mean, they were huge for like 1 year.
Yeah, my cousin loved Hanson.
Really?
Loved the middle one, Taylor. No, Zach, I think, the youngest one.
What do you remember the names of the Hanson kids?
Yeah, Isaac, Taylor, and Zach.
Is Isaac the oldest one?
Yeah.
Here's what I remember about Hanson. Do you remember on Nickelodeon on Saturday nights they would have this thing called Snick?
Yeah.
And it was like
Saturday Night Nick or
yeah,
something.
it was basically there's like they had all of that in there. What else did they
Yeah.
have in there? Amanda show, like the Amanda Bynes show.
Yeah.
Oh God, what else was it? Are You Afraid of
The
the Dark?
Dark.
You remember that?
That was on Snick?
Yeah, that was like the last. It would go from like 8 to 10.
That was like one of my favorite shows.
You know they're making a movie of that. It's coming out in 2019.
Oh my God.
One of the Abby and I were talking about this earlier. There's like a crazy amount of good shit coming out in 2019. We won't get into that tonight. We're gonna have that on the show down the road where we look forward to 2019. Excuse me, but. They would always bring in a celebrity to host Snick, kind of like they would Saturday Night Live. I think they had something called the Snick Couch.
Oh.
So, like, do you remember this?
Yeah, but I didn't really watch it that much.
I watched it, like, every Saturday, but you actually got outside and did things with your life, whereas
yeah.
I just watched TV and movies.
I lived in a big neighborhood with a bunch of kids. We were always outside playing Kick the Can and Ghost in the Graveyard.
You really played Kick the Can? Or
Well,
are you just using that as like
it
a
was
metaphor
like
to say that you went outside?
No, we played like kickball most of the time and Ghost in the Graveyard. Do you know what that is?
What is Ghost in the Graveyard?
It's like hide and seek in the dark.
In a graveyard?
Yeah, kind of.
Did
It's
you
like
ever play in a graveyard?
No, it was in the cul-de-sac, but it's kind of like a mixture of tag and hide and seek. It was really, really fun.
Yeah, I've never played Ghost in the Graveyard. I've never played Kick the Can.
It was so fun.
Yeah, you were much more active as a kid. That's probably why I was like a really fat kid.
Then we sit around the cul-de-sac and try to call into the radio to be on the radio.
Yeah, you remember when you used to have to record a song on the radio? Did you ever try to do that? Maybe you didn't. Maybe you're younger than me, like by 3.5 years, so you had CDs. You could go out and get singles. But
we had the Walkman.
I remember back in the day, like if you wanted a song, like one of those hit songs, they'd play all the time, but you would wait with your tape recorder and you would record.
But then you would always get the disc jockey.
And they never played the whole song.
Yeah.
Like the
I know, they would
song,
like tune it out and you're like, man, that was like one of the best parts.
Yeah, in the beginning of the song.
Yeah,
like
that's why
talking, they're like, welcome to 106.9.
Remember when Napster
rock
came
and roll.
out?
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd always have the songs
I didn't
that had
have
the disc
Napster,
jockey in there.
Yeah, I think I did. Did you have Napster?
Well,
Your
my
mom
granddaddy
did?
did. And we
Okay.
go to his house and we download them. Well, never mind.
Well, Napster was, for those you don't know, an illegal music downloading service that people got while the getting was good until Metallica like sued Napster, and then people had to pay for Napster. Then like iTunes was coming out by that point, so everybody kind of forgot about Napster. When I worked at Radio Shack, do you know how they have the iTunes cards? They had Napster cards.
Really?
I swear. You remember the logo for Napster?
Yeah, it was a cat, wasn't
Was
it?
it a cat?
I think
it was
so.
a white cat or a white mouse with like little beady eyes.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get back to this show. So it is kind of, I'm trying to think, it reminds me a lot of like the Goldbergs, but set in the 90s.
It's not as good as the Goldbergs, though.
Really?
No.
See, I used to love the Goldbergs. Like, I would, like, look forward to it. And now we have, like, 6 or 7 episodes piled up on our DVR. Like, I don't know.
Same with, like, the middle and...
I don't know if that's because we just been so busy with the kid and you being pregnant and stuff. But like I said, we've had a lot of time to watch TV. And it's just, I've had no motivation
I mean, you say that, but it's not like... I don't know. I wouldn't say it was a lot of time to watch TV.
You talking about when you were pregnant or
yeah,
with her
well,
now?
Especially like, well, yeah, when I was pregnant, the last 2 months of pregnancy, that's all we did because I
Save
just
this,
didn't
save
feel like
this.
doing anything else.
This is going to be the topic of a confirmed crap podcast that Abby are gonna do. That's gonna come out as a filler episode when we're on vacation, second week of July. We're gonna talk about a lot of good stuff on there. I thought it was, it's not quite as good as the Goldbergs or something like the Wonder Years. God, it's not even close to any of that stuff. But I forget the main kid's name. He has a crush on this girl who
Lucas,
turns out,
isn't it?
Is it?
No,
Lucas
I'm
is
thinking
the
of Stranger
kid from
Things.
He kind of looked like the
I know,
kid
he
from Stranger
does.
Things, Lucas. But anyway, he has this crush on this girl who happens to be the principal's kid. And turns out she's a lesbian, which is very taboo in the 1990s. It's not like it was now when people people
more
openly
accepted.
come out
Yeah.
in high school now, but back then that was definitely not a thing. So
Kids were like using the F word and stuff.
yeah, and it's like nobody's really cool on this show. I don't think, like, even the cool kids, like that Emmeline girl.
The theater kids,
Yeah,
were they?
they're not
Wait,
cool.
Because I didn't go to high school in the 90s. Were they considered the
I
cool
didn't
kid?
either.
Oh yeah, you didn't.
I graduated in 2005. from
Yeah,
high
I
school.
guess you're not that much older than me. But I wonder if they were considered like the cool kids. You know
I
how
don't think
like
theater kids are ever the cool
I know
kids.
it always seems like the jocks are the cooler kids, but
Or just
there's
the-
really no jocks represented in this show.
Yeah, I guess they wanted. That is one cliche they avoided. I mean, there is like a lot of like you see old Doritos bags. You see
Yeah.
a can of Surge.
Yeah,
Did you ever drink
No.
Surge? So you didn't drink it, or you never had it?
both.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
my God, we need to. Have
We
a
drank like
podcast where we
Capri
drank
Sun,
Surge.
High C,
Squeeze it.
Squeeze-Its on
Oh,
vacation,
there was fruit roll-ups in the show.
Vitamin C.
Remember fruit roll-ups?
Yeah,
No, wait.
fruit
Fruit
roll-ups.
by the foot was what was on the show. I like fruit by the foot.
That
a
was
lot
better. It was less stickier.
Yeah, fruit roll-up would like get all stuck into your. Remember, you
It's
could
gross.
like punch out the shapes.
Yeah,
and
how
stuff like that.
gross.
But
It's like artificial food.
what sucked is we really enjoyed this show. I mean, I would
It
say
makes you kind of nostalgic because,
His-
and it also makes you feel old because you're like, wow, they're really making a show about the 90s.
his dad works at a Blockbuster,
I know.
and I'm like, damn. They
remember
took a old
going to
Blockbuster-
Blockbusters?
Yeah,
We went to a Blockbuster
when
a
we
few
first
times when we started dating.
Blockbuster, like
This was
right-
like 10 years ago.
like right at UNCC, there was a Blockbuster.
And there was one
near
by
your
my
parents'
house. Yeah.
There was the one shut down near my parents. I just thought of the effort like these showrunners probably had to go through to like take an old Blockbuster and basically reset it up. But Netflix will spend a ton of money on their shows. I mean, look at The Crown, which we're going to talk about on the Confirmed Crap podcast. But these shows on Netflix, like, all budgets are not created equal on there, but a lot of them have like HBO level budgets, which amazes me. But sadly, we found out that this show was canceled, and it ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
You don't seem that sad about it, Abby.
I mean, it's not like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. It's
No,
not
I
that
didn't think
bad.
about that.
It's
What'd you-
fine.
What'd you think about the name? That one girl's name was Emmeline. I've never heard anyone call
Really?
that. Have you?
Yeah.
Did you know? I've never known somebody named Emmeline. Did you know somebody named Emmeline?
I mean, I've heard of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I recommend this show, especially if you're a child of the 90s. There's fun nostalgia. Just don't get too attached to it because, like I said, it's only going one season. I think that's just about going to do it for what Abby and I have been checking out this week. We're saving a lot of it for that Confirmed Crap number 5 that I'm teasing right now. Let's go ahead and do a brief new segment that we have on the Confirmed Epic podcast, the Confirmed Epic Games. So 2 weeks ago, Jerry and I did over-unders, which was fun, but I'm going to change it up a little bit. Today, we're going to do a little game called Percent Chance. So I'm going to throw out a topic, and you tell me the percent chance, anything from 0 to 100%, that this will happen. Okay, now, full transparency, I completely ripped off this game from a podcast called Brad and Laramie on Movies, but that podcast ended in like 2013, so I don't feel too bad about it. I would not do this if that podcast was still going on, but Brad Burvett got a job at, where'd he get a job? Box Office Mojo, and I don't know what happened to Laramie Legal, who was the other co-host. But anyway, here we go. All right, percent chance. Percent chance. I'll say my percentage first, and you think about it, okay?
Okay.
Percent chance we see Justice League 2 before we see Avengers 5. What do you think, Abby?
What?
Now, I want you to think about this. Avengers 4 is coming out next summer.
Yeah.
There's been no...
I have not seen Infinity War.
Yeah. There has been no announcement of Avengers 5. I mean, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. There is currently no announcement of Justice League 2 either. But I'll just throw this out there. Do we percent chance we see a Justice League movie
I hope
before
not.
Avengers 5? So I'm going to say that percent chance is 25%. I think it could happen, but it's unlikely that it happens. As Harper's staring at me as I'm talking, like always, but I have a microphone in front of my face this time. I'm going to put it at 25% chance we see Justice League before Avengers 5. So that means 75% chance we see Avengers 5 first, and that may be like 2022.
I'll have to agree with you.
Give me a percent, though. You think it's 25%, or you think it's less than that?
I'll say 10% we see a Justice League 2 movie.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like we will see another Justice League movie, but I think they're gonna reboot
It'll
everything.
suck just like the first one.
No, I bet you the next Justice League movie will be good because they'll cut all ties. I think it's gonna happen. So Time Warner just got bought out by AT&T. Time Warner owns Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers owns DC. I think that Time Warner, under control of AT&T, they're going to want to try to catch up to Disney. So, as you hear Harper talking in the background. Okay, percent chance, Abby, that WB brings back Pennywise for another movie after It Part 2. So will we see like a Pennywise? Yeah, like maybe not a sequel, okay, because there's closure in the book, and I'm guessing there'll be closure in Part 2. But what is the percent chances we see a prequel with this Pennywise in it? So remember at the beginning of this It, and this isn't a big spoiler for It, but they talk about, what's the town? Danbury or Newberry? I can't remember the town that It...
Derry.
Derry, okay, Derry, yeah. In Maine, which is a fictional town used in a lot of Stephen King stories. But anyway... So they talk about like this fire in the 1800s, and they talk about all these times this bad crap's happened.
He shows up, yeah.
Shows up like every 25 years.
It's 27, I think.
27. All right. So that means
I could be wrong though.
I think it's 27. I think
it's been
you're
a little
right.
bit since I read it. Yeah.
So we know we're getting It Part 2 in September 2019.
Because I remember. Oh, I'm turning 27, and that's.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's weird because it was coming out
27 years after the original It.
So I'm pretty sure it's 27, but it doesn't really matter anyway.
All right, so what I'm saying here is basically a percent chance we see a prequel to It. I'm gonna say 100% chance.
I think that would be cool. I'm not really usually in for just like movies like that, you
like
know,
a prequel.
Yeah, prequels, sequels, whatever. But I think that would be kind of cool.
But think about it. So we've seen It in the 80s. We're seeing It in 2017. It's set in 2017.
Yeah.
So to see it set like in different periods, to see Pennywise terrorize kids in like the early 1900s or late 1800s, they could do like a horror period piece.
Yeah.
I just think
they could do a lot with it.
I mean, that first It made so much money, like biggest R-rated opening of all time until Deadpool. No, it beat Deadpool and Deadpool 2.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'm not a big Deadpool fan, even though we're trying to review Deadpool 2 when that comes out on 4K Blu-ray.
Have you seen Deadpool 2? No, you haven't yet.
No, I have not seen many movies, Abby. Okay, so I say 100% chance. So what's the percent chance we get a It prequel?
I'll say 65%.
65%. So you're not as confident as I am. Okay, here's some fun ones, Abby. So I had a bunch of different ones for Jerry and I to do, but I kind of rewrote these when I found out Jerry was going to see Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
And you were filling in. I think you'll like this because you mentioned this earlier tonight, in fact. Okay, Abby, besides Jaws, what's your favorite movie? It's easy. You were guilt tripping me that I never watched it.
No, that's not my second favorite anymore.
Okay, well, it's one of your favorite movies.
It's like one of my favorite. I don't know. Growing up, it was.
So Abby's been trying to get me to watch Gone with the Wind, which is considered a cinematic classic.
It is, but
It's
I
like
don't
3
know.
hours.
Does that
long.
make me sound bad?
No, it doesn't make you sound bad because
I just don't want people to think like I'm this like Confederate flag waving person. Like I love Gone with the Wind.
No, I don't think they're.
It's not about that at all.
It's a literary. I can't even say it. Literary
classic.
And it is a cinematic masterpiece. I think it won Best Picture. Like any top 100 movies of all time, it's always on there. But what I'm getting at is the Gone with the Wind film. And for a long time, and I think still adjusted for inflation, it's one of the top 10 highest grossing films of all time. So this was a huge movie, not in the South, just in the South, but around the world when it came out. All right, so the percent chance that Brad watches Gone with the Wind before Harper sees Gone with the Wind.
Oh God, that's gonna be like a 5% for me.
5% chance.
Yeah.
Oh my! Why?
Because you've told me we've been together how long? 10 years almost.
10 years, yeah. And Harper's only 7 weeks old, by the way. So I mean, she's not like
she's almost 2 months old.
The Gone with the Wind Blu-ray and the PlayStation.
I mean, it's not something where I'm gonna be like, Harper, come watch this.
Like I'd be with Star Wars. I'm gonna say 50%.
That would be like Wonder Woman for me.
50% chance for me that I'll watch it before Harper.
That's
I want to make an effort to watch it this summer. I really do. All right. Speaking of Harper, let me ask you this. I guess I should have warned you. If you don't like screaming babies, this may not be the podcast for you anymore. But hey, you want content? You demand it. You download it. Here's content. So anyway, whatever it takes to get the Confirmed Epic podcast on the air.
She just wants to talk too.
This is another Harper percent chance. All right. Percent chance Harper sees all 3 original Star Wars films by the age of 10. The originals. So
she might not like it,
New
Brad.
Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Well, maybe if she does, so she has to complete the trilogy. So if you think she won't like it, I guess it's like a 10% chance for you.
Probably, yeah. Okay, I'll go with 10%.
10% chance?
Yeah, she might not like it, Brad.
Here's the thing, though. You watch New Hope,
You know,
it is kind of slow.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have some of those characters that are kind of creepy.
I'm going to change this till 12. All right, I'm editing this now. All right, let me say this again. Percent chance Harper sees all 3. What do you think, Harper? Percent chance you see all 3 original Star Wars films before you're 12.
She's not looking too happy about that.
She's kind of giving me a happy look. That may be gas. I don't know.
Hey, let's twist it. What about that percent about her watching Jaws?
Percent chance she sees Jaws before 12?
Yeah.
That's going to be 100% chance.
But I don't want to scare her, though.
Yeah, but she'll watch it. We usually watch it.
And I don't want her to be
beach.
scared to go in the ocean.
That's true. She's scared of sharks, if you can't tell. But percent chance that she sees Jaws before 10? What do you think, Harper? You're really for Jaws. Okay. But I will say it's 100%. As far as the Star Wars, I say before the age of 12, I'm going to say, Harper, 60% chance. Because if she likes New Hope, she'll watch the other 2. If she thinks New Hope's boring,
she might not like Darth Vader.
Oh
she might not like.
See, she likes Vader.
She might not like Jabba.
Well, Jabba don't come in the Return. I guess he cameos in the special edition of A New Hope. But
she might not like the little guy that.
She'll like Chewbacca though, right?
No.
You're talking about Salacious B. Crumb. Again, that's not until Return of the Jedi. Okay. Last percent chance here. And we're going back to horror. We're going back to It.
Oh, God.
Percent chance you finish the It book before It Part 2 comes out September 2019. So Abby read like half of the It book, which is like 1,100 pages. The Stephen
It's a lot.
King classic.
It's heavy.
How much did you read? 400 or 500 pages?
Yeah, like 500-600, I think.
So you're like right halfway or close to halfway?
Yeah.
What's the percent chance you finish it before It Part 2? What do you think?
I don't know. There's so many books that I want to read before that.
All right, I'm going to say 75% because here's what I think is going to happen. I think this September, October, you'll get a small itch for horror. You'll read like 100 to 200 pages. And then I think once the hype in 2019 for the movie starts building, like August, September, I think you'll finish it right before the movie comes out. Will read the book in like 12 days, which is crazy.
I couldn't do that.
Jerry read it fast too, but Jerry's a fast
I read
reader.
Salem's Lot in 2 days.
Yeah, so I think, what I say, 75% chance, I'm going to stick with that. Harper agrees. What do you think, Abby? Percent chance?
I give that a 25%.
25%? Well, you are the one that has to read it. So.
See, I've gotten into Reese Witherspoon's book club. So there's a lot of books on my list that I want to read that she's read and recommends.
We're both notorious for buying books.
No, Brad.
Either not reading them or
no,
reading them
I'm
like
reading them
a year after.
But it's just taking me a lot longer because I have this child now.
I bought the Phasma novel, the tie-in to The Last Jedi, in September. I finished it 2 days ago. It's June.
Harper, what are we reading?
Paddington Bear, a lot of golden books is what she's saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go ahead and move to our next segment, which is the Epic News segment. Okay, Abby, let's move to your new favorite comic book character coming to the screen, Captain Marvel. Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. Now, that's a little sarcasm. Do you like Captain Marvel? Huh?
She said no.
She said she's a Wonder Woman girl.
I know.
That's what I'm translating.
But we don't even know anything about Captain Marvel.
She's getting really fussy right now.
Like, I don't even know who that is.
Sarcastically, you don't know who that is. You kind of know, right? I mean, you never read the character, seen the character, but
I don't know anything about the character.
You're aware of her, right?
Yeah. I mean, in a way, I know what she's going to look like.
Yeah.
I've seen her on, some covers, I think, of, Civil War.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep. She was big in Civil War.
She had
2.
short hair on that, didn't she?
Yeah, she goes between short and long hair. Anyway, so here is the Captain Marvel topic. She's getting her own movie this March. She's going to be...
I like Brie Larson a lot.
I do, too. She's going to be in Infinity War. Part 2. She wasn't in Infinity War Part 1, so don't worry. I'm not spoiling anything for anybody.
Yeah, you spoiled it for me.
Well, you wanted it spoiled for you. You asked me who died.
Because I knew I wouldn't see it.
All right, and that movie, we're going to watch it when it comes out.
I just wanted to know if Cap died or not in Iron Man.
Spoiler alert, we don't know if they did or not. If you hadn't seen it, you're like one of the 2 people who hadn't seen it. But
I hope
anyway,
not.
that comes out
Hey, I'm one of those 2 people.
They're alive, okay? It comes out August 14th on Blu-ray, so we're going to watch it like the day it comes out. But the big news here is that they said that the next set of Marvel movies is going to revolve around Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers is the character's name. In the same way that all these other movies have kind of revolved around Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark and Iron Man. And I think I know what your thoughts are on that, Abby. What are your thoughts?
You know how I feel. I don't like it.
Why don't you like it, though? Because I'm coming from this from a guy who's read thousands of Marvel comics. I'm a hardcore Marvel zombie, Marvel fanboy. I mean, I've always preferred Marvel over DC when it comes to the comics and stuff.
Well, I didn't grow up with any of this. I knew of Wonder Woman, loved Wonder Woman. I knew Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. Yeah. I didn't know the Marvel Universe at all. I didn't even know Spider-Man was in the Marvel Universe. Oh, God. So...
She knew that before I married her.
So all these other characters, I had no idea who they were until these Marvel movies came out. And then I was like, oh, I love Cap, Iron Man, of course, Robert Downey Jr. I love Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, he's one of the best actors alive.
I know, and he, from what people say, is Tony Stark.
He is Tony Stark, pretty much. The way, if you ever watch Downey in interviews and
so
stuff,
he's like the patriarch of the Marvel Universe.
It was all built on his back. I mean, the first Iron Man launched the MCU.
So they're going to take this and basically run off with it with the X-Men and incorporate Spider-Man more.
And Fantastic Four, hopefully.
See, I'm not an X-Men fan.
So let's kind of roll in a bunch of news stories into one here. So it has been confirmed as of this recording on Thursday, June 21st, that Disney has accepted. Fox has accepted Disney's
Oh,
bid.
they did?
They accepted $71.3 billion. They outbid Comcast.
Holy crap, that's a lot of money.
So that means the Fan 4, the X-Men universe, all that stuff will be coming to Deadpool as well, coming to the MCU. Now, they're gonna redo it all, reboot. I'm sure they won't redo the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, and they may not even do that with the X-Force stuff. But like their main X-Men, like all the characters that carried the Fox X-Men verse are too old now.
Yeah.
So they're gonna, I'm sure, start from
recast
scratch
it
there. Yeah, absolutely.
Because Hugh Jackman said he's not gonna ever do Wolverine again.
Yeah, never say never though on that kind of stuff.
He's like Wolverine though. It's like Iron Man or Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man.
Exactly. So I mean, I don't think he'll be Wolverine in the MCU, but then again, you never know.
Who would be it?
A lot of people have thrown out Tom Hardy because in the comic books, Wolverine is like supposed to be 5'5". Hugh Jackman's like 6'2".
He's big, yeah.
Everybody's like, he's too big to be Wolverine. Now you can't imagine anybody else in the world being Wolverine.
He's been Wolverine for so long.
Yeah. So let's roll back to Captain Marvel. She is gonna be like the biggest, most badass, powerful character in the MCU. They said she's powerful enough to move planets. This is Superman level powerful. My problems with they call them Ubermensch in mythology is what they call these characters. These like basically god characters. Like Superman is an Ubermensch character. You know? Like it's hard to write those kind of characters because they can solve everything. They can do everything.
They're not as interesting.
Yeah, they're not as. There's not as much humanity to them, and people don't relate to them as well. That's why it's much harder to make a good Superman movie than it is to make a good Batman movie.
Yeah.
But I don't. First of all, let's go through this news a little bit by little bit. I'm glad that Fox has sold to Disney. I know a lot of people have a problem with this. From the movie side of things, I hate that there's one less movie studio out there and Disney's becoming so powerful. But my inner geek loves the fact that the Fantastic Four and X-Men are going to be where they need to be, just like Spider-Man has been. Go ahead, Abby.
They're kind of saturating it, aren't they?
So you think this is... Well, you say that, but...
It's like what they're doing with Star Wars. They're making all these movies.
Here's the thing.
Do we really need all these movies? You're saturating Star Wars. There's this new Star Wars movie every
time a Marvel movie comes out, I'm excited. Every time a Star Wars movie comes out, I'm not as excited anymore.
Yeah, kind of, but I don't think I will be as you're like,
All right,
tuning
let's go
all
back
these.
Through this year. Were you excited for Black Panther?
Yeah.
Were you excited for Infinity War, even though you hadn't seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Ant-Man,
you still have
have
the original Avengers. Is what I'm saying.
Well, they weren't in Black Panther.
No, but he joined the original Avengers like Spider-Man did in Civil War.
Yeah, that's true. He was in Civil War, so you have that. But they're going to be introducing her with the original Avengers. She's going to be with
but they're
Cap
trying to weed them out. Yeah.
Weed them out's not the right word. I mean, they've had their run.
Okay, maybe
an epic run.
Yeah, I guess passing the torch would be the...
Yeah, I mean, but there are some people that would agree with you. But I think that they can only play these characters for so long.
Yeah, I know.
And I do think it's going to be cool to see a MCU that will focus on Doctor Strange, who I did not like Doctor Strange Solo's movie that much.
The time we got to watch it.
All right, so we're cursed. The first time we went and saw Doctor Strange, the dogs set our alarm off. We had to leave.
The CPI called us.
The second time, Evan Truelove had a massive heart attack and nearly died. So
we got a call in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, I was afraid, and we had got like voucher coupons from the first showing, so I was like afraid to go see this movie. Finally, we watched it on Netflix. It was whatever. It was okay. So I really didn't give two craps about Doctor Strange going into Infinity War, and I like him in the comics pretty good. I didn't like him in the movie all that much, but God, coming out of Infinity War, he is a badass. Like. He and Thor probably steal the show more than anybody else. I can't wait to watch that movie. Abby wanted to go see that over Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Definitely.
Yeah. But we want to review Fallen Kingdom on the podcast, and Jared's already seeing it. So I don't like her being this powerful because she's powerful in the comics. She's not Superman level powerful. So
Nobody is.
Yeah, nobody. There is one character in Marvel who is. His name. I know you don't know this character, probably. His name's the Sentry, and he's a badass character. He's about to have his own solo.
It's hard to make a villain for those that is actual competition for them if they're all.
Thanos is one, but after
yeah, but I don't
beat
know
Thanos,
him.
Then what?
I've just heard of him, so I don't know how powerful he is.
I know I'm jumping all over the place here, but this is big, like Marvel Disney news. The thing that I'm pumped about is, and Abby's gonna roll her eyes so hard they're gonna be stuck in the back of her head. But I'm so excited about the Fantastic Four being in the MCU. I think if they do the Fantastic Four right, like they make it like a space, like an exploration and family movie. I think it not like a family like is in family friendly, although it can be, but a movie that revolves around family because that's what the Fan Four is, and they knock Doctor Doom out of the park. I think they can build.
Did you call them the Fab Four?
The Fan Four.
Oh.
Not the Fab Four. What's the Fab Four? Queer Eye for the
No, that's the
guy?
Fab Five.
The Fab Five was the name of the Michigan basketball team that had Chris Webber on it. The Fab Five is then Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, which Abby's been checking out on. Did they bring it back on Netflix?
Yeah, they rebooted it.
Is it the same? Is it the original people? No. Is it any of the original people? Okay. If I'm going to watch Gay Men Give Advice, I'm going to watch Nate and Jeremiah by Design. That is a great show.
Yeah.
I love Nate and Jeremiah.
It's good. They've got... I'm not even going to go there.
All right. We'll save that for the confirmed crap. Okay. But you're making me lose my train of thought talking about Queer Eye for the Straight Guy here. But with going back to the Fan Four, if the Fantastic Four was good enough to launch all of Marvel Comics, why can't it be good enough to carry on the MCU? I mean, let me ask you this. As somebody who has no skin in the game, you've never read a Fantastic Four comic, you don't know much about them at all.
No.
Maybe you saw the Jessica Alba movie. It wasn't all that great.
I didn't.
Okay.
I think it was like on TV, and I was like, oh, God, no.
Yeah, you don't really need to see it. Although I don't think the second one, Rise of the Silver Surfer, is terrible. I'd say that's a good movie. But what is it that when you hear about the Fantastic Four that it's like, ugh, it turns you off? And don't say Arrested Development and Tobias Funke.
Debris.
And Debris Bardo. All right, so tell me. Help, we need a doctor here. Help, we need a doctor again. It's like Tobias done got him a new woman.
Oh, my God.
All right, Abby, but what about the Fantastic Four turns you off in a way that if I say the X-Men doesn't? Because you don't seem... Every time I bring the Fan Four, you're like, oh, God. So what is it? Why do they turn you off?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't have an answer.
You can't put your finger on it?
No.
I mean, do you think they're like cheesy? Like,
yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think it's just cheesy.
Like, why do you... I'm not trying to put your feet to the fire like the Human Torch's fire. All right.
Oh, my God.
But I just don't... But here's the thing. A lot of people have your exact same position.
It's just, I don't know. It just seems very, I don't know. It just seems, I don't know. I'm not interested.
I'm really glad that, I think Marvel knew and Disney knew this was going to happen because they brought back the Fantastic Four comic, or it's coming back in August. There hasn't been a Fantastic Four comic in 3 years. You got to understand that this is the first Marvel comic was Fantastic Four. So the fact that they hadn't had it is crazy. But
bless you.
Basically, to summarize, we're happy that Marvel has got the rights to the characters like the Fan Four, and Brad is happy about that. I don't know if Abby is.
I'm more interested in the Disney movies coming out for children the next few years.
Yeah.
Having a child.
Like what? Like the Lion King live action movie?
Well, I don't know if she's going to be ready for that because the Jungle Book live action was a little bit intense at times. Like the snake.
Scar in live
and
action?
Shere
That's
Khan.
gonna be scary, dude.
I don't think she'll be ready for that.
Scar?
Oh, let me look at that up.
Yeah, look that up.
I know John Oliver is Zazu.
And then Timon and Pumbaa
Donald Glover is Simba.
But it's Billy Eichner is Timon. Who's Pumbaa?
Oh my God, let's look this
Seth
up.
Rogen's Pumbaa.
Oh,
Seth
is he
Rogen's Pumbaa,
really?
yeah.
And Beyonce, I think, is Nala.
Yeah. No, is she?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. So Google Scar.
Oh, Jeremy Irons is Scar.
Well, he was the original Scar.
Yeah, and James Earl Jones is Mufasa.
No, that's the original movie. Yeah, we're looking up the remake. Google who's gonna play him.
I feel so stupid.
Who's gonna play him in the new one? I don't think. Well, we are on
Oh
pregnancy.
God!
Not
Oh no,
pregnancy.
Seth Rogen is Pumbaa.
Yeah. I knew
Oh
that.
God, I cannot pronounce his name.
Chitwell Okafor. Let me see it.
No, yeah, that's.
Yeah, Chitwell Ejiofor. He played. I forgot the character's name. He is in Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I knew.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
So-
Black Panther, but it wasn't Black
He's in
Panther.
Doctor
Yeah, that's
Strange. I
it.
forgot the character he played in Doctor Strange. But anyway, yeah.
But James Earl Jones is Mufasa.
In the original.
And in this
Oh,
one.
he's coming back for
Yeah.
it. Okay, good. Now I knew some of them were coming back,
Yeah.
but that's gonna be fantastic. Like I don't know if
I
wanna
know.
see
I
that in the
remember
theater.
when Lion King came out. That was probably the first Disney movie I remember going to see in theaters.
Yeah.
Was The Lion King, and I remember my mom took me
Mine
and my
was Beauty and the Beast.
took my brother and I to the mall to get The Lion King on VHS
Okay.
at a mall kiosk.
I remember
Like a ton of families were lined up to get it.
whenever you bought a VHS as a kid, didn't it seem like a big deal? To me, it did. Like it was. Cause you said
No.
they had these kiosks. They would always have. I guess because
You couldn't pre-order anything back then,
No.
so you had to go line up to get it.
Yeah, you did. You really did.
I know.
And the Disney ones were like expensive because they came in those like clamshell cases.
Yeah.
Those thick like plastic hard. They call them diamond cases. What
Yeah.
they call them. And they would get old and turn like yellow and stuff. See, I want to buy all the Disney movies for Harper because they just released like Peter Pan.
I know, but at the same time, it's like, are they going to have a streaming service eventually?
Disney streaming is launching not this Christmas but the next, I think.
We'll see. That would be
they're
perfect
gonna
timing for
have
her.
all
She'll
their
be almost 2.
Well, they're going to have all their movies on there. They're going to have the live action Star Wars on there. And when I say all their movies, I don't just mean like Lion King and Jungle Book. I mean like all the Marvel movies, all the Star Wars movies.
That'd be awesome, though.
It's probably going to be like $25.
That's worth it, though.
Well,
I
our
mean,
DirecTV contract to be over by then.
yeah. So we'll say sayonara to that and
Yeah.
hello to streaming Disney.
The thing is, though, like those type of movies, like I want to own them.
I know.
You know?
I know. Like, I definitely want to get her The Little Mermaid.
But I'm like, I wanted to buy Peter Pan.
Peter Pan is awesome.
Because they restored it again and they had it in a nice, like, steelbook case. But the thing was, I'm like, well...
It's like going down the rabbit hole, though. If you get one, you're going to want to get
with
them
that?
all.
That sounds
It's
great.
going to add
The
up.
rabbit hole is in getting Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, Abby, here's my thing. Are they going to release them in 4K Blu-ray?
I don't
Because I
know.
would hate, like, I buy Peter Pan now.
See, this
then
is
in
the
3
issue.
years-
It's always something down the road that's going to be better. And then
But
you're
I
like,
think
why?
4K is the last physical medium.
We'll see. I don't know.
I mean, because I do think everything's
Well,
going
hopefully.
streaming. But you know what I think they'll do on the streaming service? I think they'll be like maybe they do this. They say the only place you get 4K HDR of Disney classics is on the streaming.
That'd be good.
And if their servers, which is Disney, so you figure they can handle it, that'd
Right.
be a big draw. Because, I mean, people, we talk about...
People love
yeah,
Disney.
like, more than people like Star Wars.
Like, we can't
and
wait to take her
Marvel.
to Disney World.
Like Adam's dad. Our friend Adam, who is mentioned on this podcast many times, his favorite movie is 13 Hours. Oh, they just had a kid, so shout out to Adam and Tanya, our friends that had baby Grayson. All right, I hope they're getting some sleep. God knows we finally are, knock on wood.
I know, she's
Anyway,
such a good sleeper. I have
but
to brag about that.
Adam's dad, very, quiet guy, a manly guy, but dude's a Disney freak. Has like all these Disney statues.
Tell me
all
somebody
the
who
Disney
doesn't like
Blu-rays.
Disney, though.
I know, but my point is, there's many people. I don't think anybody dislikes Disney, but so many people that maybe you don't even know love Disney.
I mean, it's hard not to.
Yeah, it is hard not to, but I like to own stuff to know I have
Yeah, you
it.
like to collect
Well, no, I mean,
stuff.
I'm trying to collect comics and 4K
No.
Blu-rays, Abby. Would you agree with that?
That's it, hopefully.
Yeah, that's it, hopefully. Okay.
You can't collect any more posters.
No, we don't have room for them right now. I have so many posters under my bed. You're a fan of Stranger Things. We both can't wait for season 3 to come back in 2019. I know you don't read a lot of comics. You used to read a lot of my like Wonder Womans and stuff like that, and Aquaman, which I don't get either one of those. So that explains why you don't read comics anymore. But Dark Horse, smaller comic book publisher, is doing a Stranger Things tie-in comic. That the comic is gonna be like, I don't think it's gonna be ongoing. I think it's gonna be a miniseries. It's gonna be focusing on Eleven's mom. Is this getting to where we're going too much with Stranger Things now? Or is it like, well, if you want to read this,
if you want to read it, you can read it. Yeah, it's available to you. I don't think it's like it's not like they're making another series about it. You know what I mean?
My thing is like nobody makes you read anything, but like fans have this disorder, this completionist disorder, and I have it to some extent. Jerry has it with Star Wars, that they think they have to consume anything and everything related to it.
I know.
And
it's like the people with Lord of the Rings that learned Elvish. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They just want to soak up everything that has to do with it.
Which I understand. But to me, I've never
done that.
I don't know if there's been one thing.
Is that healthy?
I mean, I think as long as it's not hurting your marriage, it's not hurting your parenting, it's not hurting your job, I think it's healthy. You know, if that's your thing, I mean, go for it.
I guess.
But the thing is, like, everything doesn't need all this, like, supplementary material. Like, forever, Star Wars was just those 3 movies and then, like, 3 more books. And that was perfect. And now it's so much stuff that's like, I'll never consume all this. I've read a lot of Star Wars books, but not as much as Jerry. God knows he's read everything under the 2 Sons of Tatooine. But yeah, check this out in September. Okay, let's go ahead and get into our main epic news topic here, which is the brand new trailer for the 2018 Halloween film that is directed by a good friend of Danny McBride, who helped almost co-direct and co-write this movie. True story. Danny McBride, Eastbound and Down. Got a lot of Seth Rogen movies. Vice Principals, one of our favorite comedians.
What was he in the movie we just watched with George Clooney?
He was we watched Up in the Air, and he was the girl's fiance.
He was his sister's.
Yeah, but he wasn't like over the top in that movie.
No, I'm just saying he was in that.
Yeah, but he's a huge Halloween fan. He's like a horror nerd. So the fact that he got to work on this is pretty cool. But
they have a Myers house in North Carolina.
Yeah, they do.
Where is it in North Carolina?
It is in Hillsboro, near Chapel Hill, near where Julie lives, your aunt. But let's go ahead and get into our discussion of the brand new Halloween 2018 trailer.
Testing 1, 2, 3. We're on.
We're here to investigate a patient that killed 3 innocent teenagers on a Halloween in 1978. He was shot by his own psychiatrist and taken into custody that night, and has spent the last 40 years in captivity. Hello, Michael. I have something you might like to see.
Everyone in my family, turns into a nutcase this time of year. Yeah, I mean, your grandmother is Laurie Strode. She was almost murdered.
Wasn't it her brother who murdered all those babysitters?
No, it was not her brother. That's something that people made up.
Do you know that I pray every night that he would escape?
What the hell did you do that for?
So I can kill him.
Dad, look out!
The bus crashed.
Mom, what bus crash?
Michael escaped.
Excuse me, somebody's in here.
Hello?
waited for this night. He's waited for me. I've waited for him.
Get out! Go home! Get inside!
You don't believe in the boogeyman?
He's here!
Michael! You should.
Can you close the closet door?
Halloween, Abby, is like one of the only horror franchises that I'm not going to count Jaws here, that you really, really like. And I'm really interested.
It's like the only one I like.
Is it? There's no other.
Which other one would I like?
I'm going to throw one out there. It's going to surprise you. It's not a movie. American Horror Story. That's a franchise you like.
They haven't been so good, though, the last few seasons.
But you know what's coming up? Coven and Murder House, baby.
Yeah, the two best seasons.
Are combining. But, so, here's the thing about this Halloween movie here. It's that the Halloween franchise has went down like a bunch of different winding roads. You had Halloween, Halloween 2, they're like back to back, one after the other. Like there's no denying it's the continuation of a story.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had Halloween 3, which was nothing to do with Halloween Michael Myers at all. So basically they're like, let's make it an anthology, right? Where it's like different stories. We just call it Halloween. That didn't do so well. Some people love it. It's okay. It's not that bad. Jerry really likes it. Then there was Halloween 4 and 5 and 6, which were kind of like their own thing. They're like, yeah, Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, is dead. Then there was Halloween H2O, which is like, no, she's not dead. And she was back. And that's one of my favorite Halloween. I think it's my second favorite Halloween besides the original. That's the one with Josh Hartnett. We watched that one a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
You don't remember, so you must not have liked it that much.
No, I guess
then
not.
there's Halloween Resurrection that has LL Cool J where Jamie Lee gets killed. Then there's the Rob Zombie Halloweens.
Oh, God.
Which you watch. You can't really forget those, I don't think.
How can you?
So, yeah, this has been all over the place. So, but here's what they're saying, and this kind of pisses me off, I think. It is that this is after the original Halloween. Halloween 2 didn't happen. None of that other shit happened. And I'm fine with none of that other shit
So it's
happening.
like it never existed?
Yeah, but how can you say Halloween 2 never happened? It's like picks up right where it left off. And there's a line in the trailer where it's like Laurie's, what would be her granddaughter, is saying, you know, oh, that's your grandma's brother or whatever. And she's like, no, that's all made up. So they're saying that he is just somebody who attacked her. He's not related to her. I don't like that. Because that kind of undoes.
Well, you don't really know the context, though. Is she just telling her that just so she's like, you're not related to him?
I hope so. Like, just bullshit.
It might be that.
Yeah, I hope you're right. See, to me, Halloween is always like a pick your own adventure for me. As far, everybody's like, which Halloweens are the best? Well, there's nothing like the first one. It invented the slasher genre. It's like one of the probably the best 100 movies ever made. The first Halloween. Mm-hmm. But I always said my Halloween is Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and Halloween H2O. To me, that was like a trilogy I made up for myself, a made-up trilogy, to where if I was saying, all right, Abby, you've never seen Halloween, I'm going to let you watch these. It's the one night he came for his sister, he picks it up in the second one, then he comes back 20 years later.
Yeah.
Cool story, I think. But here, I don't know where this is going to go. Now, what'd you think about the look and feel of this trailer? Did it scare you at all? Or were you just like, Were you afraid? It's an easy... Did it scare you or not?
Not really.
Why?
I don't know. It's
you
just like...
scare easy, though.
Not that easy.
It scared me. So we're spoiling the trailer. If you hadn't seen it, you're one of the one people.
There was nothing that jumped out at me that made me scared.
So there's a scene at the end of the trailer
that made you jump.
It did.
But you warned me about it, so
okay.
I was like, oh, well, I expected it.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think it made me jump. So school, a lot of y'all know as a teacher, I'm a teacher. School was over. We had teacher work days. I was on my lunch break. Trailer came out. I was like, I got to watch it. I'm all by myself in my room. All the desks and everything have been pulled out so they can clean the floor. So it's a very like empty feeling. And all of a sudden, I'm watching it's building. There's a scene where she's shutting the closet. And he's like, the boogeyman's in there. And then boom, boom, shuts it. No, nobody's in there. Then she tries to slam it. And there he was, Abby. And I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
The mask looks badass in this movie. Do you not think this is a cool looking Halloween mask?
Describe what it looks like.
It kind of reminds me of a mix between the original one. And I'll say this. It reminds me, because there is a difference between the mask of the 1 and 2, just a tad. It reminds me of a mix between the second one and the Rob Zombie mask. The Rob Zombie mask was all worn. This is just worn enough. And you can pre-order yours from Trick or Treat Studios right now for $60. I haven't done it, Abby, don't worry. But I saw, so I follow them on Facebook and on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And it was so creepy, Abby. So they have this huge warehouse, and this movie is going to be huge. It's going to be a huge seller for them. Everybody's going to be Michael Myers. This movie comes out like October 19th or something. A lot of hype for it. And it's nothing but these Michael Myers masks lining the walls. And it's really eerie. Are you looking up the mask?
Yeah.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Show it to me. I want to make sure you're looking at it.
I don't think this is the right one.
Wait, this just in. Jeremy Irons is playing Michael Myers in this one, guys.
Is he? No, he's not. You're so stupid.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, you're stupid. Oh.
But the mask is actually they're getting. I can't remember the
I was
guy's
like Matthew
name.
Broderick is in that.
Hey, I can't remember the dude's name, but they're getting one of the original Michael Myers from one of the Halloween sequels to come back and be in the suit. And he's tall, but he's not. Remember in the Rob Zombie one, he was like
just massive.
7'2".
I know. I was like, what?
It was ridiculous.
It's like Andre the Giant.
I think it was the wrestler playing him, the great Khali, who was like 7'2".
I was like, everything was obnoxious in those movies. But.
The first one's okay. One thing about this trailer, you may not know who I'm talking about here, but the sheriff's always been a big part of the Halloween movies. The sheriff in this one is Will Patton. Do you know who Will Patton is, Abby?
He was in Remember the Titans.
Yes, he's the white coach from Remember the Titans. That's exactly right. Very good character actor. He is in Armageddon, one of my favorite movies. I know you don't like that movie.
The cheesiest movie.
He was in the hit TNT science fiction show Fallen Skies, which I'm the only one person who watched it. But I think it's kind of cool. He's in this. Hey, it's badass. They got Jamie Lee, because Jamie Lee, Halloween launched her career.
Yeah.
She went from being this scream queen in this horror movie to being an A-list, like in movies like True Lies and movies with like Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, like Trading Spaces. And, you know, she's done her share of bad movies, but I mean, she's like an A-list star. And the fact that she wanted nothing to do with it. So I heard a story. It was Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal is friends with David Gordon Green, who's directing this movie. And he's also good friends with Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know if they've ever been in a movie together or not. But she's like, I'm done. So they tried to approach her. She's like, I'm done with Halloween. I don't want any part of it. You know, that's like such a old chapter of my life. And she was like at a resort somewhere. And she had kept ignoring David Gordon Green.
She's his godmother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this makes sense. Danny McBride tried to call her. She didn't take that call. I don't know if she knew who Danny McBride was, which how can you not? But, so Jake Gyllenhaal calls her. And I see them together now. Jake Gyllenhaal calls her and is like, hey, you know, David, I trust him. He was one of Jake Gyllenhaal's friends. Like, this script, he sent me some of it. It's really good. He's like, please take their call. And she's like, all right, I'll do it for you, which apparently is her godson, as we learn. That's the kind of things you learn on the Confirmed Epic podcast. So she read the script, and she's like, holy shit, this is really good. I mean, obviously, she got paid. You know, Jamie Lee Curtis is like one of the wealthiest actresses in all of Hollywood. She gets like so many royalties from stuff like Halloween. That every movie she's been in since like 2001 or something, she donates all the money to charity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she really does. Very selfless of her. Very cool. And anyway, so she's making money. She's donating millions to charities doing this. But if Jamie Lee's on board, I'm on board. Wouldn't you say so, Abby? Like, doesn't the fact that she didn't want to do this at all, but she read this script and was like, damn, this is a really good script.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't that make you be like, I don't feel like this is a cash grab. I don't feel like this is just another flash in the pan Halloween movie.
Trying to make some moolah.
Yeah, and if it does well, I know they're going to be another one because Danny McBride said they wrote this as a part 1 and part 2, and they said, well, we'll just wait to see how this does. They wouldn't let them they wanted to film them back to back. So I'm really looking forward to Halloween. It comes out this fall, and I cannot wait to see it. All right, speaking of horror, let's go ahead and get into our featured review of Insidious The Last Key.
People who need help with matters that can't be explained come to me. These hauntings can be terrifying things. I should know. I've faced many evils in my life. This was different, though. The haunted house. Is my family's house. If we can find out what it is, we can stop this curse. To end this evil, I need to go deeper into the further. I don't have memories from this place. I have scars. I am gonna find it, and I'm gonna finish it. Elise, there's someone right in front of you. I don't see anything. Be careful. You're going to touch it.
That was from the trailer of Insidious The Last Key, the latest installment of that hit horror franchise. Let's go ahead and get into a few stats on this film. Insidious The Last Key was directed by Adam Robitel, who directed the latest entry to the Paranormal Activity franchise, The Ghost Dimension, which I have not seen. Released January 5th, 2018. This is produced by Jason Blum, Blumhouse Productions. Very small, now thriving horror production company. They produce Get Out. So it stars Lin Shaye, who plays the main character. This movie revolves around her. Scored by Joseph Bashara, rated PG-13. It was only a budget of $10 million. This movie grossed $167.5 million on a $10 million budget. So yeah, that's not Avengers money, but think about it. They made so much money off this movie. Horror movies are kind of cheap to make. It was 32% on Rotten Tomatoes, though. Not very well received. So I'm going to take Jerry's spot here and kind of set this up. And Abby, what'd you think of this movie before I set it up?
Insidious?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Insidious.
Yeah, Abby has not seen this movie. She was like, when you have a kid, it's hard to sit down and watch a full movie, especially a horror movie, because, yeah, they can't see it, but you just never know, right? So I watched this movie over the course of 3 days, and we were supposed to have this episode last week, but I had a big national board teaching test, and we just decided on Friday. We record on Thursday nights, at least for right now. We're going back to Tuesday soon. I decided to take that week off, so that's why this podcast is a week delayed. So sorry about that, but we do this for fun. We're not getting paid millions of dollars in sponsorship money here. However, the setup of this movie is basically a prequel to the first Insidious, and you flash back to right before the first Insidious film, and then to Lin Shaye's character's childhood. So Lin Shaye plays the character Elise. She is an exorcist, isn't the right word. She's in touch with the spiritual world, and she has two paranormal investigators. They run the company called Spectral Sightings. They go around the company, Spectral Sightings. They go around the country investigating different paranormal episodes. So, Abby, have you seen any of the Insidious movies?
No. Okay,
well, we're watching 1 and 2 this weekend now.
No, we're not.
You really need to watch the first two. You know who's in the first two?
No.
The main, so here is the main cast of the first couple. Patrick Wilson. You know Patrick Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Rose Byrne. You remember Rose Byrne? She's the bitch girl in Bridesmaids, the one that gives everybody a puppy.
Oh yeah.
She's the wife from Neighbors, the Seth Rogen movie. British actress.
She's Australian.
Is she Australian? Okay. Well, damn. That's why you're on the podcast, Abby. I knew you could contribute to this review. And then their son, who is seeing all these demons and whatnot in those movies, is Ty Simpkins, who was the kid in Jurassic World and the kid in Iron Man 3. And that was the first movie he was in. So it has a really good cast. But my thoughts on this franchise, the first two are like modern horror classics. Like, horror goes through subgenre waves. Like, for example, I talked about how Michael Myers started the slasher subgenre of horror. What do we got? Oh, wow. Breaking news. Breaking news. ABC has announced a Roseanne, speaking of horror, ABC has announced a Roseanne spinoff with who?
With just the cast, without Roseanne.
Without the cast. So they're just going to continue the show.
Yeah, without Roseanne.
Are they going to just be like, she died? Or something like that?
I guess so.
Hey, you know what? They should make her die of a pain pill overdose.
Yeah, there you go.
The opioid epidemic strikes the Connor family, because that was a plot line in Roseanne, wasn't it, before it went off? She was like addicted. They couldn't afford surgery. She's addicted to pain pills. She's racist. It was a whole big mess. All right, but anyway, back to a real horror movie here. Insidious The Last Key. But horror goes through subgenres. Like when Blair Witch came out, found footage became all the big rage.
That was a good one.
And that kind of led into Paranormal Activity, all that. And with The Conjuring and Insidious, you had a lot of
Patrick Wilson's in The Conjuring too.
And Insidious 1 and 2. So he's
that's
in
what I'm
both
saying.
those
He's
franchises.
in,
You know who's not in the Insidious, who's
Vera.
in Conjuring? Vera Farmiga, who's one of my favorite actresses. And she was in Up in the Air, which we watched the other day.
Yeah.
So not only is this franchise like this and The Conjuring really guided the path of horror over the past 5 years, but this character of Elise, played by Lin Shaye, character's kind of campy sometimes, kind of out there. But she is, I think, a modern day horror icon. So let's go ahead and get into a spoiler-free review. This isn't going to be as in-depth as our normal reviews. Jerry's not here, who has seen it, and Abby sitting here hasn't seen this movie. So I'm kind of flying solo right here, although Abby's chiming in with breaking Roseanne news if anything happens.
God.
So here's some of the stuff I liked about this movie. And my initial thoughts are I did enjoy this movie. I'd heard it was like kind of shitty, and I didn't expect much at all. Abby was like, "Why'd you buy this on Blu-ray?" I admit I don't make the wisest purchasing decisions when it comes to home video. But, I mean, a lot of times I buy the copy and give Jerry the digital codes so he can watch the movie and we can review these. But anyway, I don't regret buying it. I think I own the first two. I have not seen Insidious Part 3, which is a completely different story. The first two are the same story, and this is a prequel to the first two. So all three of these movies kind of lead in together. But I really enjoyed the movie. It developed the team of the Spectral Sighting that had Tucker and Elise and this character named Specs. Like, you kind of saw them develop their camaraderie and stuff like that carries on into those first two movies. Go ahead. Sorry.
what is like so scary about Insidious? Are they like fighting a demon?
Demons are the main thing.
Okay.
And it's not always possession either. Sometimes that kind of like Conjuring in a way that demons are in the house. And Conjuring's better than Insidious. There's no doubt that's a much better franchise, but Insidious is really good too. But it's not just demons. Like, she has dealt with all kinds of cases. She's not an exorcist, but she's dealt with possession. She's dealt with like poltergeist. So she's like this legendary like paranormal investigator, and I don't want to say spirit talker.
I just wonder how you get in that field.
I don't know, Abby. Once you Google it, probably pays more than teaching.
Not doing that. Nope. Not doing that.
Yeah, but there are people that do this. Whether you believe in this or not, people do this kind of stuff.
They say like it happens in the Catholic Church. Like you have to get exorcisms and.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So only Catholics get possessed.
Well, I'm not saying that.
Do you believe in possession?
I don't know. I really don't want to think about it, to be honest with you.
You've never seen The Exorcist, have you?
No, I haven't. No,
yeah.
No.
Obviously, the mother of all exorcism movies.
And I stay away from movies like that.
Yes, the thing about I see something like Freddy Krueger. It's like, all right, I'll use Jason. I like Freddy Krueger because Freddy Krueger doesn't actually kill you. Like these kids have dreams about him.
Yeah.
And they die of like a heart attack or a panic attack. So
right.
That's what always fascinated me about Freddy Krueger. But something like Halloween or even Jason or Texas Chain, I'm like, this is like unlikely to happen in real life.
Do you believe in paranormal activity?
Yeah, that kind of stuff scares me because it's like, I don't know if I do believe it.
Do you believe in spirits?
I believe in spirits. I do. And if you believe in spirits, either good or just like benign spirits,
right,
then you have to believe in demons, right? I mean,
there's
it's like you can't have one without the other.
There's so many stories, even as close to like Charleston, South Carolina is supposedly really haunted. There's quite a lot of spirits with stories there.
You've read a lot of these about like the coastal Carolina hauntings and stuff.
My mom and I stayed at a hotel in Charleston, South Carolina. That's I wouldn't say notorious for being haunted, but it's pretty well known. That's a haunted.
What's the name of that hotel?
The Miller Street Inn.
Yeah.
And I think like the first floor is the most haunted, which is. We didn't intend to stay on the first floor. So that's in
Charleston. I only stayed at the Myrtle Beach version, which was the Miller Light Inn.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
All right.
And then, like Louisiana is supposedly really haunted as well. I don't know. I think
isn't there a story about you staying in this hotel and a clock or something?
No, not a clock.
A watch?
No. My mom's friend stayed at the hotel. My mom and I didn't have an experience with it. I was just scared to death and stayed up all night because at night when it's dark, you get paranoid. You start believing stuff. Yeah. You start thinking, oh, did I just hear something? Did I just see a shadow? That kind of thing.
Now we hear it's a baby next to us.
Yeah. Yeah. And a stupid ass beagle that. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
that's so mean. I know, but she wakes us up all the time. And my mom had a friend who stayed there with her husband. They were like, absolutely, there's no nothing that supports spiritual activity. Yeah. They didn't believe in it. Not saying that I fully believe in it. I think there's something out there that we can't explain. I don't know what it is. So they stayed at that hotel, and that morning, that morning they were getting ready, and the husband's watch was on the nightstand. And
oh my God,
he was sitting on the bed, and he was like, honey, I need you to look at this with me. And like his watch was being picked up by the clasp and being dragged across the nightstand. Like,
was this Ann Cotter?
No.
Okay, that she may have been drinking vodka. So. But anyway, so. Let's get back.
I don't know. There's just a bunch of stories like that. The objects moving, objects being thrown. I don't know. It's just a bunch of random stuff like that.
It's always with that kind of stuff, where there's smoke, there's fire. Something, if this many people had this experience, there has to be something, right? That's kind of how I feel about religion.
I definitely think that there's something. I don't think it's evil.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying there's some kind of spiritual presence.
You know,
in this
there's
world.
like habitual hauntings where the ghost will perform. I don't know.
What
I sound
will the
crazy.
ghost perform?
I have never seen any paranormal activity,
It
but
does like a show tune.
I've
or
never
something?
witnessed any. No, they just like they say like at some bars and stuff like.
Those people are drunk, Abby.
I mean, people that own the bar say like stuff will happen every night about the same time. Yeah. That's like an habitual haunting. It happens the same time every day, or same time every month, or whatever.
That's a quote from Evan Truelove. I don't know how reliable
like
that
most
is.
people in these areas believe like the spirit can't move on, and that's why the spirit still lingers.
Yeah. There's a reason for it.
Yeah, like they can't move on for some reason.
I'll tell you a movie that freaked me out in this kind of subgenre of horror. I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I told you I stay away from those
Very
movies.
few movies have freaked me out. The Exorcist freaked me out. The Exorcism of Emily Rose and Seven are really the only 3 movies that were like, when I got done watching them, I was like freaked out. Because I don't know. I've watched horror since I was in 6th grade. So this is like, I'm numb to this, which is not good necessarily. But I mean, it is what it is. Okay. So this was a prequel, and you got to see a lot of like a young Lin Shaye's character, a young Elise, and how she had this connection to kind of, as we were talking about, the spiritual realm, and she was being abused by her father, and there was actually some reasoning behind that, and I'll talk about that in spoilers. But I thought it was kind of a good decision to make Elise's story personal. She's always been a good character, but sometimes when you get background information on a character, it's bad. It destroys the mystique, aka Darth Vader, aka Hayden Christensen in the prequels. In this case, though, it just added to the depth of the character. And there's some more of that stuff I want to talk about in spoilers, so I'll roll the reel forward to spoilers for Insidious The Last Key, starting now. As I mentioned, it turns out that a lot of the abuse her father put her through, I mean, he would take a stick. I'm not talking about like a hickory branch that my grandma would make me go pick and beat me one time with. My grandma used to, believe it or not, and Abby can't believe this because I'm so spoiled by my grandparents, but
yeah, I know.
My grandma would make me go pick my own hickory, and she would whip me with it.
Really?
And the hickory hurt, man.
Oh
Do you ever get whipped by a hickory?
No.
God, that hurt.
We
yeah.
just got spankings. That's all
I
we
would
got.
be running, and she'd be like whipping my calves, and
oh my
I mean, not like beating the blood out of me, but I mean, it hurt. I think I'd rather be, I don't know, a belt and a hickory are pretty even.
A belt?
Yeah. Are pretty,
You've gotten a belt before?
Oh, yeah, I've gotten a belt before, about 3 or 4 times.
Are you serious?
Yeah. But it's
no.
Good. Discipline's good. Spare the rod, spoiled. I'm just kidding. I don't believe necessarily in corporal punishment.
No, all we got was spankings.
I mean, I got those too. I didn't get the belt much. I probably got the belt like 3 or 4 times. And I did bad shit, though. Like, I deserved it. Like, one time I just peed in my closet. Just for the hell of it. I just wanted to do it. Would you not beat your kid's ass if they just peed in the closet?
I'd be like, we need to sit down and have this
like,
conversation about why you're peeing in the closet.
It's just like, let's pee in the... I hate to throw. It was me and Craig. Craig dared me to do it. My cousin Craig, and we peed in the closet.
Well,
in that
kids do
room.
Stupid shit though.
Yeah, we were like 3 or 4 years.
Especially
I think about
when they're
4 or
together,
5.
it's more of like a dare situation. Like,
it was
kind of
like that.
It.
It was kind of like that kind of situation. But anyway, enough about people peeing in the closet. Let's talk about this. There's a really brilliant opening scene in which Elise's dad locks her in the basement. Now, her dad, is not possessed, but being influenced by the demonic spirits in this house. So he's abusing her, but he is like, these spirits are pushing him to do it because the spirits sense her, I think, as a clairvoyant, kind of being a threat. So the child abuse is not her dad necessarily. it's the spirits pushing the evil spirits pushing the dad to do it, which is kind of weird, but I thought kind of different and clever too, because I thought he was just a drunk asshole, and that wasn't necessarily the case. So he takes her down there, beats her with this like giant stick, and then her mom like goes to check on her. She's down there crying, and there's like these loose wires in this house, and the wires begin to slip down, and they hang the mom. I'm talking about, it looks like she hung herself. Of course she didn't. It was the spirits in this house. I mean, this was something. God, these damn dogs. Speaking of evil spirits, but it was something that probably didn't cost much money at all to do, but it was very effective of like showing you the type of spirits that was in Elise's like childhood home. So they developed a relationship between her and her brother. Her brother was left there with the abusive father. She ran away from home. And it goes full circle because she goes back to this house that she grew up in because a guy living there is being going through kind of the same kind of experiences.
Hauntings, yeah.
Yeah, and she hadn't seen her brother since she left as a kid. And I think she ended up like in foster care, orphanage, and stuff like that. And his daughters meet up. They just randomly, I know randomly, but it's the movies. Got to suspend disbelief a little bit. They meet up at like this diner and they hit it off, but the brother doesn't want Elise to have anything to do because he's like he's kind of religious, not like uber religious, and he don't want to go back to that place. Yeah. He doesn't want to relive that stuff. But the guy who's being haunted, his name's Kirk Avedko. He was the villain in Arrow this past season, and he was in Fringe. He did a pretty good job, but he was a very short-lived character. Turns out that Elise's, I guess what would have been her niece, has the same kind of powers. And she helps Elise go into this house, banish the demon. In a kind of cheesy scene, she meets up with her mom, but her dad, she's able to go through this door into the spirit world and cross over. Like, she's unconscious, but she's in this spirit world inside of this house. I know this sounds like crazy, and it kind of is, but it actually kind of worked. And she interacts with her dad. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, it wasn't me. It was this house. Do you not see? And there's like this main demon in the house. He's like really scary. He has these giant claws for hands. And to take control of people, the reason it's called the last key, his index finger, this demon's like a key. He sticks it into their neck, turns the key, and that's when he has control over them. So, I mean, not the most unique premise. I mean, it was kind of clever. Does this sound like a movie you want to watch now, Abby?
Hell no.
We own it on Blu-ray, so you can watch it anytime you want to.
No, we'll be watching that.
I want to see. I don't want this franchise to end. I hadn't seen the third one. I want to see the third one, but all the Insidious movies I've seen were good to great. The girl's name, who is the niece, you know what the character's name was?
No.
Imogen. Imogen.
Yeah, I've heard of that too.
I've never heard this name in my life.
It's not that common. I don't know what the origin is.
So our next daughter is going to be Imogen.
No.
But the thing is, they set this Imogen girl up to kind of be like Elise, but the timeline confuses me. This is kind of where I wish Jerry was here, because I guess it is what's really weird is they flash back to when she's a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that's prequel parts because she's a little kid. But at the end of the movie, after she goes through this story with this demon in this her childhood home, and they banish him and whatever, and she meets her niece, blah, 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 like, the phone picks up. I'm tired. We have a newborn. The phone rings, and it's Rose Byrne, the Australian actress, as I know now. And she's like, she either said, and I rewound it and I couldn't tell. She either said, our grandkid needs you, or we need you. So I couldn't tell, is this necessarily like a prequel to right before, or if it was. The movie didn't do a good job of pointing that out. And even when I Googled it and looked some of this stuff up, the timeline wasn't clear. So I really, need to the movie didn't do a good job of portraying where this was out in the timeline. So I'm going to go ahead and give my rating for Insidious The Last Key. I'm going to rate this as a good. It was a very well done horror movie. It's nothing special. If you like the other Insidious movies, you'll enjoy this one. So check it out. And I think the franchise will continue. And I love this character of Elise. Abby, next week on episode 97 of the Confirmed Epic podcast, we'll be reviewing Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Well, I guess you won't be. Me and Jerry. I mean, you're welcome to join us if you want to, Abby. All right, Abby, where can people find more of you on the internet this week?
I don't know. Nowhere.
All right, IDK. All right, as for this podcast, you can find it on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, SoundCloud, YouTube, actionfigurebarbecue.com. Of course, you can find me in this podcast at Geeks Worldwide, thegww.com, the Epic Review, thepicreview.com. As always, you can find me on Twitter at the Real Brad Bell, DREEL Brad Bell. And Abby, thank you for joining us tonight. I know this is, you don't like doing this as much as I do. This is my main hobby, so thank you for filling in.
You're welcome.
Abby's a great wife. I'm just going to shower her with praise. She gives not all, but 90% of this geek stuff a chance because she loves me, and I appreciate that. And she's been a great, great mom to this little baby Harper, who you heard earlier on the podcast and who's waking up from a nap. So from the beagle-infested Hollywood foothills of North Carolina, we are out.
That's all I have to say about that.
This has been a production of the GWW Radio Network. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. Also, check out Geeks Worldwide at thegww.com for all the latest news, reviews, and opinions on video games, comics, movies, TV, cosplay, and more. Geeks, assemble!